Question number 11 says, if a trapezoidal sum over approximates the area and a right Riemann sum under approximates the area, which of the following could be a graph of f of x? So let me just make myself some notes so we don't have to look at it on the whole page. So trapezoidal sum over approximates the area, and a right sum, I think it said, under approximates the area. So we need to figure out which of these matches up with that. So let's start eliminating some to begin with. First of all, I want you to notice that all of them are curved except for E, so let's see what that means. I hope that you notice that a trapezoidal sum on E would just be the actual area under the curve, because it is a straight line. So if I broke this up into 4 subintervals, and looked at the trapezoids, notice that it is the exact area under the curve since it's a straight line. So obviously the trapezoidal sum would not over approximate the area in this case, it would be the exact area. So it can't be E. Now let's eliminate next by right Riemann sum, because it's pretty obvious whether or not a right Riemann sum is going to under or over approximate. So let's really briefly, I'll do it physically because obviously it's helpful to have you guys visualize it, but I would suggest doing this in your head. But looking at the right Riemann sum. So if I look at the right Riemann sum for each of these, and I'll just draw them out for example's sake. Alright, you'll notice very quickly that 2 of them do under approximate the area, but 2 of them over approximate. So it looks like A and C are both going to under approximate the area for a right Riemann sum, and B and D are both going to over approximate the area for a right Riemann sum. So it can't be B and it can't be D. So it could either be A or C. From here, we need to look at the trapezoidal sum. Alright, so the trapezoidal sum, you could break it up into 4 subintervals, but honestly it's kind of difficult to see because they're so close, sometimes that it's difficult to see if the trapezoidal sum is going over or under. So I like to be very, very exaggerative. I don't think that's the word, but you get the point. I like to exaggerate a lot with the trapezoidal sum by only using 1 subinterval. And so what I mean by that is I literally just take 1 subinterval as one big trapezoid, and it becomes very, very obvious from there if that line is going to be over or under. So notice here it's very obvious that that purple line is above the curve, and here it's very obvious that that purple line is below the curve. So to have it be an over approximation, for the trapezoidal sum to be over, it must be answer choice A. And again, if I did it in little tiny intervals, I could, but notice that it looks so much closer there, and it's really hard to tell sometimes, Sometimes that looks like it's under, sometimes it looks like it's over, I can't really tell. But it's very obvious if you just use 1 subinterval if it's going to be definitely over or definitely under. So the only answer choice that makes sense is answer choice A.